Good morning, Disruptarians. This is Ryan, the Punk Rock Libertarian. Coming in from the Philippines. It's, what's the date today? The 18th of June, 2025. So I had a comment from a friend that I've known for 30 years, but maybe I've only spent 5 or 10 days with her in person, and then the rest of our social life has been on the internet. What she said to me was concerning to me for an analysis of my personality. She told me how Filipino women are strong-willed and that's not usually the kind of woman that I would date. I'm like, that's not actually true. I mean, for anybody who knows me knows the wife that I was married to for 18 years was very strong-headed, almost to a point of being insufferable. When I met her, she had a full scholarship to Westminster for, Westminster is one of the best business schools in the Western Hemisphere of the United States. She had a full academic scholarship for business administration or something like that. Was it business management or something? Anyway, she was going to go for various majors and minors, and she had a full ride and was very bright. And then she dropped out. She felt insecure around the wealthy Mormons. Didn't feel like she fit in, so she dropped out. And then I started a business, and shortly after that, she was employed through my business for a company in Orem, Utah, ACR LLC, as a media director for like $30 an hour right out of high school. And so she was brilliant, and she was always a go-getter, and she fixed cars while my body was broken after my car accident. In the freezing Maine winters, she fixed our Land Rover. Was not a weak person. Then the girl I started a jewelry store with in Hawaii had, I didn't know this, but when I met her, she had a reckless driving ticket where she was arrested. And prior to that, not long before that, she had a boyfriend named, I think his name was Brandon, that she assaulted and beat the hell out of. And then she later assaulted me and my daughter and got felony charges for it and went to jail. Those are the three, jail instances this woman had. She started the business Dragon and Koi with me in Kona, Hawaii, in Kailua, Kona, Hawaii, but was a tyrant, and I didn't realize she had quite a police record, but was also strong-willed. I mean, she financed most of that business. Well, her parents did. She really didn't have any of her own money, but her parents had a lot of money, and she was the only child. But was very strong-willed, was a Capricorn, and, based on her arrest record, was very strong-willed, owned her own business and everything. Then the girl I got married to last year, also not realizing this, but was on a deferred sentence after she beat up her ex-boyfriend just 6 months before I married her, undivulged to me, and was a very strong-willed person, another Capricorn, that very beautiful girl, young girl, but very strong-willed, and then also assaulted me shortly after our wedding, and I just wasn't going to tolerate that kind of insufferable behavior. And this is the problem for me. It's not that I don't like strong women. I don't like insufferable women. And I like strong women because I want a team, a strong team, not a weak team. I want somebody who is strong-willed, who is capable, who can, handle business. Like my ex-wife, for example, she would have continued to work, but she wanted to homeschool our kids. And I was a much higher earner than she was. I earned 300% more than she did at any point in her career. Even now, she's the sole breadwinner with her and her new husband. He stays home, she works, he doesn't work. She's the breadwinner. I still make, at the time of which I got in my car accident and stopped working, but at that point, my income was still 300% more than hers, and she's well along in her career. Now, this is a woman who I met who straight out of high school was making $30 an hour with no college degree. So she's not a weak earner, but I still made a hell of a lot more than she did. So it made sense for her to homeschool our kids because that's what she wanted to do, and for me to work. But the notion of this insufferability, where it's like they are so extreme that they are so confident, or they are so, capable, in their mind or whatever, that they become insufferable, and they become, semi-abusive, and that's the tipping point for me. That's where it crosses the line, and that's where it seems to go with me. My mom, now, not a super strong-headed woman. I mean, she worked, she made an income, and she would probably be able to survive fine on her own without my father or without her current retirement, but is more swayed by public opinion, by social opinions, and is not very confident in herself, but also was insufferable, was the kind that would, when I was a kid, would attack my father, physically beat the shit out of him, and then call the police on my father and be like, "Hello, police, he just beat the shit out of me." And then they'd come and arrest him or take him off or whatever, and I would be there watching the whole thing, and there's no way that he assaulted her or did anything. My dad never raised a hand on my mother, but this is the kind of insufferable woman that I grew up with, was the kind that would lie to the police to get revenge on her husband. So anyway, as far as my friends saying that these Filipino women are strong-willed, that is true. The difference, though, between Filipino women and American women is the strong traditional and family values they have. So while they are strong-willed, and they grow up, most of this country is very poor, making less than $400 a month to live on. And this is the kind of life we live here. Look, this isn't, low standards here. This is a nice place, but most people live on less than 20,000 pesos a month. 20,000 pesos a month is about $400 a month. And I think the average is 15 to 17,000 pesos a month. And so, and then there's a lot of, single mothers here, as I have learned. I just got done dating one for 6 months. And they have to be tough. They have to be resilient. They have to, be able to handle their business. But they would prefer, as this is Southeast Asia, and the culture here would prefer a traditional family, a traditional relationship, a traditional marriage, as opposed to being a headstrong, insufferable, crazy woman. They'd rather be, led by a strong man and have a strong family household, with a traditional value system. That's just their culture. I've been here, 8 months now. I've learned this. This is definitely their culture. This is definitely a Southeast Asian thing, but it's definitely a Filipino thing. Not only did they have the Spanish influence from Spain for 300 years, but they're also in Southeast Asia. So they've got the value system of, the Chinese, the Thai people, Vietnamese people, all the local surrounding cultures that have a traditional value system, and that's just how they are. Very Catholic nation. I think 80% of the nation is Catholic. And anywhere I've gone on this island of Cebu, I have not seen one pride flag, not one transgender flag. Not to say there isn't gay people here, but that is not something that is promoted. That is not something that is, heavily propped up around here. Not by governments, not by private individuals, not by businesses. It's just not a thing here. Not one rainbow flag. You can ask my daughter, who is very gay friendly, who's here with me. She's 11 years old. She's been with me for 4 or 5 months. And we've been looking. We've been trying to spot one. And in that time, since she's been here in February, we have not seen a single pride flag. But it's that the Western culture is sort of shining on this culture here. And we, in the Philippines, for 48, 50 years, I think, was a U.S. territory. So they're very inclined to be influenced by the U.S. And that insufferable feminist culture of, believe all women, or Me Too, or men are bad, or, whatever, is also shining into this culture. So there is a little bit of that encroachment here that it's becoming a little westernized in that way. But for the most part, it's very traditionally valued, very Catholic-dominated society, very religious society, and very strong-willed people, absolutely. But to my friend's comment to me this morning, I don't know of a single woman I have dated or been married to, and I've been married twice, who had a weak will whatsoever. Or even the one in Ireland, for that matter. Oh my God. And not only, well, strong-willed, yes. Insufferable, 3,000%. Let me just get the definition of insufferable, since I've used that about 10 times in this video. I looked it up earlier, but a lot of women, a lot of people will take being insufferable as being strong, strong woman. I love the South Park version of strong woman. It just cracks me up. Anyway, so the dictionary definition of insufferable is too extreme to bear or intolerable. The heat would be insufferable by July, as one example. Having or showing unbearable arrogance or conceit, an insufferable bully. So definitely some of the women I've dated, insufferable bullies. But a weak woman? No. I can't stand weak women. I need a team. I need a force out there in the world. I'm trying to make progress. I'm trying to change the world for my children for the better. Free markets, independence, less government influence, less of the government being our mommy and daddy, more of people being able to be resilient and strong in their own efforts. I want my kids to have a bright future, so I'm trying to make big moves in my life. I don't need a weak woman. I don't need a weak team. I need a strong team. So I don't know where she gets that from. But that's my take on this whole thing with dating, especially in this world today. God, is it difficult. It's difficult to find the balance of someone who is submissive enough to be led, to have a leader. The man is usually the leader, the head of the household. The provider, the protector, the one that's much stronger physically, the one, that's got the mindset for both providing and for protecting, for war and for peace, whereas the woman is the nurturer, the bearer of life, the child rearer, the raiser of children. So it's hard to find that submissive balance where she would be submissive but also strong enough to be a part of a strong team and not be insufferable. Now the man also submits to the woman, and this is not only cultural but biblical, religious in most senses, that the man submits to his wife like Jesus would submit to the church. He protects and loves her and strengthens her and edifies her. And submits to her, needing that protection, giving her that protection, providing so that the family is strong and she's able to lead the family at home, the kids, raise the kids, to give her the peace, the comfort and the strength to lead the family at home. While he's leading her, she's leading the children type of thing. And so he submits to her, she submits to him. But submission is a dreadful word to feminists, to insufferable feminists especially. You can't submit to a man? Oh, that's chauvinistic. That's, misogynistic. That's, whatever. You don't submit to no man. No, we do. Men submit to their wives submit to their husbands. And that's a good thing. It's not a negative. Hard to find that balance in this world today, especially when everybody thinks submission is so negative. It's not negative. It's necessary.